It's the I Can't Mom Today podcast with Heather, the new mom, and Vera, the seasoned mom. I Can't Mom Today.
Hey, this is Heather and Vera with another episode of I Can't Mom Today podcast. And we have a special guest. Oh, sorry.
Hi.
We have a special guest, Anne, here today.
I can't say hi yet. Okay.
Oh, yeah. You're not introduced yet. You got to be introduced. Okay. Go ahead.
It's okay. It's okay. You're just excited about being here. So Anne's here today. Anne, do you want to introduce yourself?
My name is Anne, and I live in Nashville.
Well, tell us about your son.
My son is 9 months old. He'll be 9 months old on Friday, and he's adopted. He's the cutest boy in the whole world because he already wears glasses. He's gonna get a complex because now everywhere we go, people tell him he's the cutest boy in the whole world.
And what's his name?
His name is Victor Miho. He's pretty awesome. And I'll say he's even more awesome because 3 days a week he's at daycare and I can get stuff done. So
Yeah. Exactly.
It's a life changer.
I know.
Yeah.
How old was he when you adopted him?
So we actually met the birth mom while she was pregnant. So we got matched about this time last year. It was August of last year, and he was born December of last year. So, and he was she was in Jacksonville. So I went down to Jacksonville quite a bit from Nashville for ultrasounds, doctor's appointments, all that stuff, just to get to know her, and because we have an open adoption, and then kind of know what was going on with the baby and get ready for his birth. So it was really fascinating. It was interesting.
Can you start from the kind of the process that you went through in order to even begin the adoption? Like, what was the conversation between you and your husband? And your husband's name again? I'm sorry.
My husband's name is Paul, and who cares? He's just the dude, right? Like,
yeah, right?
Who cares? Well, for a lot of people, it's a lot of things. For us, it was infertility, and I'll tell you this whole. If you want to go all the way back to the beginning, I'll tell you we started trying in 2014, and I have a history of endometriosis. So my regular OB at the very beginning was like, okay, she immediately wanted to start off with surgery to clear out any of that, and then she said, try for 6 months. Like she already wanted to get ahead of it. But she felt pretty good. Like everything looks great. Everything, just so you guys know, I look great in there. I look fabulous. And after 6 solid months of trying, nothing happened. And I don't know how many of you or your friends have done the Clomid thing. We did that for a while. Like this is when it all gets hazy. We did the Clomid. We did IUI. I did another surgery. We did infertility. We went to an infertility doctor. And basically, you basically do everything you can do, and then you have to decide whether or not you want to do IVF. And what was happening was we found out that Paul was very fertile. He could probably impregnate you from where he's standing right now. And everywhere, each time, it just seemed like every time they did an ultrasound on me or something, there was like something new was wrong. So it seemed like if we did an IVF and the infertility doctor was like, he agreed with us, I didn't have a good home. So we decided instead of placing our money, it's kind of like, where do you want to put your money? So we decided to put it on adoption. And so that was in July of 2016. And we essentially just found an adoption lawyer, and we were like, what do? We don't even know. Who knows? And so she gave us a list of adoption agencies, and then we went and kind of put in an inquiry, and they just started us on the whole path. And what you have to do if you're going to adopt, and I'll just say this for those who want to know, you just have to get a home study done. So you can have a home study done by any adoption agency in your area. And that basically means they need to get background checks. A home study doesn't mean like, is your home dirty? It means a home is basically, are you fit to parent? So they're going to get a background on you, your husband, and then they're going to get like something from everyone, like your parents, your brothers and sisters. Everything. It goes back. And then we're talking like FBI, Tennessee, Bureau, like state, everything. And then they will come to your home, check to see stuff there. And that takes a good 4 months. So about November 2016, that was finalized. So we took the holidays and then started searching for a baby January of 2017. And then that's what they call like the waiting period, which is like the hardest thing. I'm going to try to make this kind of short. That's the hardest part because everybody does it different. Some people just go through their agency. Some people, everybody does it different. I made it like my job, and Vera would probably know this. We kind of have to market ourselves.
Yeah.
And so I just researched and Googled and found everyone I could willing to take our home study on and put it on basically their list. And so if they ever got, birth mom that was interested, they let me know. Well, I ended up finding this lawyer in Jacksonville who was very busy, and he essentially sent out an email 2-3 times a month with moms wanting to adopt out their children. And because of that, 9 months later, this mom chose us. Now, I will tell you, in those 9 months interim, we had a lot of close calls, a lot of me laying on the couch in the fetal position waiting for a phone call that never came.
Oh, man.
A lot of us going, I don't know if this is what we want to do. This is just heartbreaking, because we would get like really close. We had a girl who chose us and then decided not to. We had, a lot of parents did not choose us, and we were thinking there's something wrong with us. So it's tough. And then this happens, and you're like, wow. And you look back and you go, 9 months, that's not that long. That's how long a pregnancy takes. But every day is long.
Well, when it's like a constant roller coaster. I feel like
it was the emotional roller coaster. And like planning trips was hard, because there were times when we got calls like, oh, this mom's going to deliver in a week. Or the first one I got was, this mom's delivering tomorrow. Would you be willing to take the baby? Yeah.
Whoa. Oh my God.
Yeah. But thankfully this one was like not as stressful, and everything went about as to the book that it can.
Wow.
So people are even nervous for us, because my husband wanted to have a shower, and a lot of people don't do that, because what if something could go wrong? But we had a shower and everything went fine. So no, everything went great. And the worst thing that happened, and again, I think Vera knows this because we're friends on Facebook, I got the flu the day before he was born.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm getting ready for baby and I'm sick.
I'm sick. So I was quarantined in the hotel room, and my husband didn't get sick, but he had to be quarantined because he was with me on the ride down. I couldn't hold him for 5 days. It was horrible. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And you're like, I finally got the baby. No, I can't touch the baby.
Oh, yeah. It was. And you want to talk about, like, I've never seen hospital politics in action, but, like, this was the beginning of last year's flu season. And if you remember how nuts that was, like, and I had literally just gotten the diagnosis from CVS, and they were like, we went into a room with a nurse, a couple of doctors, an administrator, everyone wearing masks, and they're like, okay, this is what we're going to do. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
They're like, you can't come into the building after this. And I'm like,
whoa.
What? Yeah, it was crazy.
I caught it from you.
Yeah, right?
All my friends love to joke that I was patient zero, because this was in December and nobody started getting sick till like January. And I don't know where I get it, because I work from home. I see nobody but my dog.
Yeah.
I have no idea where I got it. So that was craziness. And then just sitting in a hotel room for 5 days. Yeah.
So we're planning on doing an episode on birth plan. So it's like your, birth plan didn't go the way you expected it to either, basically, Oh
my gosh. And that was the one thing I heard from people. They're like, it never goes the way you want it to. And even friends I have that had babies, they're like, oh, let me tell you, I was supposed to have this beautiful water birth. And I was in labor for 4 days.
Yes.
And it was a C-section. And yeah.
Exactly. And that's I can only imagine what a test it was for your relationship with Paul. Like the fact that you guys made it through all that.
Well, you have to give Paul a lot of credit because he's kind of an amazing guy.
Aww.
Well, and the cool thing was his parents were down there with us. So his mom is just like, I was the first one that got the whole little Victor. Like she was there. So the whole thing was he was in the NICU for a couple of weeks. So they were really on lockdown. So it was a big deal that they even let his parents go in there. It was just supposed to be us. But they let his parents in for those first couple days. Paul was let in after 3 days because he was on Tamiflu. The whole family had to take Tamiflu because of me. So, never felt more like a leper in my life.
Oh my gosh.
And I will say it was cute because he had like a 48-hour head start on me. He loved it when I came in. He's like, okay, now this is how you change his diaper.
Oh, God love him. That's awesome.
It was adorable. It got annoying, but it was adorable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm the mom. Like, get out of my way.
Let me do it.
Aw. So what is your plan like when you are you planning on letting Victor know that he was adopted from the get-go, or how are you going to handle that?
This is another thing that if you're thinking about adopting, I think is really important. The place we went through for adoption was really big on education before you went through before they said that you were fit to adopt. So we had to take all these education credits, and I think it was really beneficial because I think when we went into it, we didn't know what type of baby we wanted to adopt, or you don't even think about how all the options there are, international, national, how health problems, just the array of issues. And then, closed versus open. And it could go either way. A lot of this has to do with matching up with the birth mom. There's plenty of birth moms out there that want it to be very closed, no contact. So they're only going to match you with somebody. You won't even start walking down that hall. You won't even start a conversation unless, it's with a mom that wants the same thing as you. But what I thought was really great was learning about the benefits of having an open adoption. When we first started, we talked to kids that were adopted in their teens, kids that were adopted that were like 7, 8, 9, and then older adults that were adopted and all their thoughts. And some had closed adoptions, some never knew their parents because their real parents because they were from China. All the emotions that went from that. And you could take all that information and decide what you wanted to do from there. Wow. And because of that, we decided we would like him to at least be able to get a hold of her if he wanted to. And he doesn't have to. I mean, that's the thing. But we're definitely going to tell him as soon as he's aware enough to learn that. And it's really cool now. There's like little books you can read to them that talk to them about how we adopted him, and instead of like you came from my belly, it's like you came from somebody else's belly, and so it's cool. They've got all that stuff out there. And
so his adoption. I mean, I don't know the process. I've heard it's really expensive, and I've also heard that like it's a process once you finally have that adoption approved. Like it's not like the day he's born, here's the baby. I mean, I've heard that like for weeks and months afterwards, it still has like the parents still have some, the birth parents still have some sort of like kind of loophole to get out of it.
Yeah, it's different in every state, and I think that loophole word scares people. It is very expensive, but it can also not be. You can basically make your adoption however you want it to be. We set our budget, and when we looked at different profiles, we would say this is way out of our budget. We're not going to do this. A lot of it has to do with different states and what their lawyers are going to charge. If you're going to have to pay for their health care, it just really, it's so case by case basis.
Wow.
Also, you can go private adoption. A friend of mine did in Missouri, and she told me about this website. I believe it's called Parent Profiles, or whatever. You basically just put up your profile. People who are wanting to adopt out look for you, and then you kind of try and figure it out with a lawyer on your own, which means you're essentially just paying legal fees, which could make that much cheaper. It just didn't work out that way for us. Nobody matched up with us there. That would have been nice.
The movie Baby Mama comes to mind, and it scares me.
Yeah. Well, and so the loophole thing, I think people don't really understand it, but like we adopted out of Florida, and there's different things that happen. Like right after he was born, within less than 24 hours, we were his parental guardians. I'm going to have some of this incorrect. And then within just like at the same time, they give up their parental rights.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then it's like 10 days, I believe, they could file a motion to reverse any of that. But that would mean like the baby's mother would have to like seriously put up a legal fight, and there would be, it's not just like, she can just say, no, I want my baby back, and she gets the baby back, because legally that baby is pretty much ours. So once they've signed away their parental rights, and once we're the legal guardians, if she's deciding, and don't quote me on all this because I'm going back.
Yeah. Well, you're not an attorney.
And it's your, and this is your experience.
Not an attorney. So do not consider any of the advice actually that we give you to be considered serious advice.
Yeah.
It's just more,
remember, a lot of these times, and not all of them, but a lot of these times, these are moms who just don't have the financial means. So you're just not going to find a mom who's going to be like, well, no, I want this baby, and then she's got to fight for it. And then it's just what people fear is just, it's just very rare. It's just very rare. And I learned that in the whole process, because believe me, it was something we feared. Yeah. And the more we went through it, the more it was like, because the adoption didn't become final, and it doesn't until 3 months after he's born, because you have to have 2 more in-home studies with your adoption agency. They have to see you with the baby at the house, making sure you're not doing anything bad. So the final final isn't until he's 3 months old. And I think that's what freaks people out a little bit.
As it should. I mean, I would be nervous.
Yeah. But that's more just legalese. It's just not. I felt really secure when they signed over parental rights, which was literally hours after he was born. And my lawyer made me, and that's we pay all this money to feel secure about it. And I did. So.
Well, so you mentioned security legally, but so what if later on, like you said, so you have an open adoption. So if he wants to contact his birth mother, he can. What if there's a point where, so say Victor's 12, 13, 14 and is like, I want to go find my birth mother. And is there any part of you that worries about the emotional aspects of like, well, what if he likes her better? We
went through that. Well, we're not going to let him do any of that till he's 18.
Okay.
He can definitely, write letters and emails, stuff like that. But as far as meeting her, that's not going to happen until he's of legal age. Right. There was a girl in one of the panels, and I thought this was really interesting, who is actually like good friends with her birth mom now, like goes on vacations with her, which we're all like, And she goes, I realize that my situation is really weird, and my adoptive mom had a problem with it, but she's my mom, and my birth mom is just like my bonus mom. And now I don't see any of that happening. But when I saw these other kids talk about the relationships they have with their birth parents, it's sort of like just having a bonus extra relative in their life, like an aunt that's nice to them, or knowing how I know the birth mom, I'm just not at all really concerned. I would actually be happy if she grew into a woman that would have a wonderful relationship with him. Yeah. That would make me happy. I don't fear positive things in his life. That's good.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, how can you?
Yeah.
So that's where my husband and I are. I fear more that he would go to her and she would, lead him down negative things.
I see. Okay. Yeah.
That's my fear.
Do you mind sharing a little bit about his birth parents with us, or I mean, if
really
not, that's fine.
No, that I don't really want to.
Yeah.
I'll just say that I think the positive thing about his birth mom is that she married the birth father.
Oh, nice.
And since we've come to know them, they seem to be on a better path. So the adoption was definitely a good idea for her.
Cool.
When I think making that decision to give up your child for adoption, I think is such a mature thing to do,
Yeah.
I mean, I know don't know that I could do that.
Me neither.
It's a very, very hard thing to do, very mature thing to do. What I will say about her and what I've said to all of my girlfriends and my family is that she's had a tough life. She's had very poor decision-making skills, but she's smart.
Mm-hmm.
And she knew that there was no way that she could raise this child. So I think that her future, and it seems to be going well, her future, if she makes other decisions kind of in the same vein as this one, is really going to go well. She just, what's the best way to put it? Oh, I used to say that she had like the emotional quotient of like a 19 or 20-year-old, but she's 30 years old. So she's just very impulsive and doesn't think a lot before she acts. But then when something like this happens, she confided in me. Lots of her friends get pregnant and want to keep their babies. And she's like, I don't understand that because I can't afford, simple
to take
things.
care of them.
I can't, I could barely afford gas money, let alone diapers. So, so the fact that she can figure that out, I think is very good to know. Like that's good.
Yeah. I mean, that's really like a huge sacrifice. And that's what, growing up when it was like, what if I'm adopted? Because I know I was like blonde hair, blue eyed, and the rest of my family was all dark. And I was like, what's up with you people? Where did I come from?
Yeah.
And there's that fear you're going to find somewhere in a drawer that you're actually adopted. And, and then, why would and I don't mean to make light of those feelings at all, but, why would my birth mother give me up? But I know as a mom myself, I think that is a huge sacrifice. And that's absolutely that's a very unselfish thing to do. So
it's a very unselfish, it's a very loving thing to do, to say, I can't provide for you the environment that you need to flourish. And I love you this much, and I'm going to give you to somebody that I believe that can. And it's an emotional thing to go through with another female. It's really, and then you're bonded for the rest of your life. So it's pretty cool. I mean, I think about her a lot.
We still have so much more to talk to Anne about, so we'll continue next week. More about adoption and infertility. This is Vera for I Can't Mom Today. Don't forget to go to our Facebook page. Make any suggestions, comments, whatever you got. Facebook.com/I Can't Mom Today. You can email us at ican'tmomtodaypodcast@gmail.com. And Instagram, I Can't Mom Today Podcast. See you next week.